Right, so today I thought I'd walk you through a little bit of a home workout training session, and so you can see like some of the things I do that are very, very helpful for testosterone boosting, but also gaining muscle, especially gaining muscle in a calorie deficit, because this is one of the topics where I've had loads of pushback on, and I think most people don't understand what I mean when I say like you can gain muscle in a deficit. You can see how I train here at home, and also in the future I'll potentially do some at the local gym that I train at sometimes, and then you can really get a feel for what it looks like. Before we start, I want to say that everything is easier when your testosterone is in the 800 to 1200 range. Everything you do becomes easier. It's easier to stick to the gym, it's easier to recover from the gym, it's easier to sleep properly. And if you don't know how to do any of these exercises properly, the correct technique, that's like one of the first things you should look at. But without any further ado, let's get into the video. So with these barbell rows, I like to try and do a little bit of a pause at the top, engage the rhomboids, the lats, the traps a little bit more, puts more strain on the muscles, which is good. And that set was to absolute failure as well, which is something I do recommend. And then later on in the workout, I did do some pull-ups as well. But here we've got some incline press. This is very high reps. And again, it's going to be to absolute failure. I keep the tension on the pecs the entire time, which is the reason I'm not necessarily locking out with my elbows, because by the time I'm doing that, it's basically a tricep exercise. So I'm trying to punish the pecs as much as humanly possible here for a real burnout. Again, to absolute failure, because failure is how you guarantee a certain amount of stimulus and adaptation. And then I followed up with some incline dumbbell flies, and something that's a little bit of a theme here is I always recommend, if you're really going for muscle growth, do 2 different exercises per muscle group, 2 very different exercises to failure, and it guarantees that you're going to break the muscles down big time. Alright, just to follow up on that video and to summarize, if you're really going for the muscle gain, whether you're on a calorie deficit or a surplus doesn't really matter at this point. This is just a superior style of training. You want to follow up the main exercise for that muscle group with another one that's completely different. Hits the same muscle group but in a very different way. So, for example, paused barbell rows followed by pull-ups, or weighted pull-ups if you're strong enough. Or do it the other way around, and sometimes it's good to switch the order of the exercises. For the chest side of things, incline dumbbell press followed by incline dumbbell flies. Completely different kind of stimulus on the muscles, stretch. And from week to week, you'll want to vary the rep scheme you use to keep the stimulus fresh. So 6 reps, 8 reps, 12 reps, 18 reps. You can go quite high, and it stops the body from adapting. Combine that with things like drop sets, combine it with things like rest pause sets, training to failure. You'll gain a lot of muscle, and you know there's limits to how much you can gain when you're 11 or 12% body fat in a deficit, but you can gain, trust me. A lot of it's about how you train, what your testosterone levels are, how well you sleep. So there's varying your rep scheme, and there's also varying the order of the exercises as well, and occasionally bringing in new exercises or swapping out old ones. There's a lot you can do to keep things fresh and keep things moving forward. But that's it for today. If you want a really good training program example, check out Testosterone Tripling Training, and I'll see you in the next video.